Welcome to all. Today we are going to start Indian economic development part of the our economics curriculum for class 12th, in which we started our first chapter, Indian economy at the time of independence or at the eve of independence. So the synopsis of the chapter are, in this chapter we are going to study three phases of Indian economy. Second, low level of economic development at that time. Third, agriculture sector. Four, industrial sector. Five, foreign trade under British rule. Six, demographic profile during the British rule. Seven, occupational structure. Eight, infrastructure. Nine, contribution and exploitation by British rule. So we can start our chapter. So the entire Indian economic development curriculum of class 12th is divided in three major parts, or we can said that we can divide it in three phases. First phase is during the British rule or up to the British rule till the year 1950. In second phase, the planning period, when we started planning from the year 1951 to 1990. And third phase is the reform period, when we make reform to our economy from the year 1901 to till date, or the contemporary times. So we can start the important points regarding this chapter. So first we have characters of Indian economy at time of independence. So first is low economic growth in terms of national income, 8 per capita 8 per capita income, yeah, rupees 8 per capita income. So this is the times when we get independence. There is low economic growth, low GDP growth, low national income growth. Second, second is agrarian economy covered dependence on agriculture and substance agriculture. The entire Indian economy is majorly dependent over the agriculture, and the agriculture, the type of agriculture which is practiced at that time is substance agriculture, which is mainly for the self consumption of the farmer. Third is stagnant and backward economy. Stagnant means there is low uh, growth in the economy, or there is the economy is moving without the growth. And the backward economy. Fourth, depleted economy. At that time, Britishers moved from our country and left our economy as depleted or exploited. Five, deindustrialized economy. There is no industrialization in economy. Major industrialization in our economy is not carried out by the British Indian government. So we can elaborate these points also. First, we have low level of economic development. Britishers has adopted all economic policy based on the following two objectives. The objectives of their policy are protecting their own interest. They are solely working for their own interest or own profit. Transforming India into a consumer of finished good and supplier of raw material. They they ensure that India will export the raw material and get import of finished material. They never made any effort to calculate per capita income, national income, since both remained very low, because they know that the per capita income is very low, so they never try to calculate it. But the per capita output remained below 2% in 1949. And the British has adopted all economic policies based on the following two objects. Then we move to agriculture sector. So Indian remained an agrarian economy during British rule, with 85% derived their livelihood from the agriculture. Still, the same feature is exist in the Indian economy. We have major our im- major workforce is engaged in major part of our workforce is engaged in agriculture still. Now, low agri at that time there is low agriculture productivity, stagnant agriculture due to defective land settlement system, zamindari system, which aimed to collecting tax, ignoring the conditions of cultivator. So that land settlement system means revenue system. At that time, the government, the mm, present British Indian government tried to get maximum revenue by the exploitation of farmers by zamindars or zamindari system or the intermediary system which is practiced that time of that period of time. Second, poor irrigation facilities, forced payment of agriculture taxes, exploitation by zamindars, forced revenue settlement system. It means it is that the total revenue system is based on the exploitation of farmer. The main objective of British Indian government to collect more revenue taxes from agriculture by the use of middlemen, which are called zamindars at particular time, or by the name of zamindars, the zamindari system is started. Then the agriculture have commercialization of agriculture. Farmer were forced to produce commercial cash crop instead of food crop to feed as a raw material of British industry. As Indian always imported food stuff from other country at higher cost but sold their raw material to British at lower cost. Therefore, the landless labor and the small farmer remained as tenants and poor always. So the this is the story about the commercialization of agriculture, which is generally benefited the farmer, but in the case of Indian economy at the time of British Indian government, this is going to hazardous for our farmers because they did not get food grain on time, and they were producing cash crop and they sold on minimum rates to the British business owners, or they export their production, non-food crops, commercial crops. So the commercialization is not beneficial. The commercialization is not going to beneficial for farmers at that time of period time. So, but at present, the commercialization is going to have some positive impact over the income of farmers. Then we move to industrial sector. There is twofold objective of British to deindustrialize India was reduce India as an exporter of only raw material and importer of finished food. Indian industries totally export the raw material and import the finished good. The make India as a market for their finished good. As we know, there is a huge industrialization is carried out in the Great Britain during the 18th century, and after the industrialization, they need a very big market for dumping their production of products of their industries. So they are making India as the market of their finished good. Decline of Indian handicraft industry to create massive unemployment. So after the industrialization, the mechanization of industries, the handicraft industry of India was destroyed, and it create massive unemployment due to the decline of handicraft industry. Development only agro-based industry instead of capital good industry. In 1970, TISCO was established by GRD Tatla. Mostly jute, cotton, sugarcane, textile mills only were promoted. This is also based on the policy that Indian business houses will export only raw material and import the finished goods from Great Britain. So this policy is exercised in the various sectors of the economy, in agriculture, in industries also. The growth of modern heavy industry and their contribution to GDP. So some heavy industry was set up during the British area, but British times, but it is not up to the mark. British promote public sector industries only in areas of railways, transport, communication, port, few administrative area to serve their own interest, establishment of their own interest. It means that their all economics activities are based on their own interests. Five, we have foreign trade under British rule. The colonial government adopted restricted trade policy in India, affected the volume and composition of foreign trade in India. The same policy was practiced in foreign trade also. We can see that India mainly export low price agricultural goods to tea, coffee, spices, wool, sugar, etc., and import costly finished good like machinery, clothes, tool, that too mainly from Britain. So same policy is practiced here. India was compelled to have more than 50% trade with British only through countries where interest to pay more but denied. Or our country is compelled है ना to do business with British government, British that time of UK, United Kingdom. So our 50% trade is going with British United Kingdom at that time. India generated more export surplus but always faced the shortage of essential goods like grain, cloths, kerosene in the local market. It means our export are more than our imports, but we have always shortage of some basic goods like food grain because of commercialization of agriculture. We studied in agriculture part. Our we produced commercial crops or we grow commercial crops. Farmers export them to the United Kingdom, but always faced problem or shortage of food grain which are imported from some other country on the higher price. The surplus income received by India through was used to Britain administrative expenses and the military establishment. Hence, the Indian resources were drained away completely. Or the surplus income generated by the trade, it is used in the British administrative expenses or military establishment to hold the India as their market. So this is about the industrial sector. Then we move to demographic profile. Demography means the study of population or the statistics or data regarding population. Demography is the study of science or study of size features of population of a country. It provides the data on qualities of population in nation. So the population growth was unevenly distributed. First census is carried out in 1881. This is important for MCQ. India was the first stage of demographic transition in 1921. Since the birth rate was low, 1921 is treated as the tier of the population history or great divide in the Indian demography. So the year 1921 treated as the great dividing year because after increasing population in the many decades, in the decade of 1921 to 30, first time there is a negative growth in the population. So the year 1921 is important for Indian economic Indian economic history. Poor social indicator at that time, low literacy rate, total 16% literacy rate means, and the female is 7%. Presently 75 male and 66% female. It means less people are literate. They can speak, write, and read any language. The This is the meaning of literacy, literate. So literacy is very low. We are not talking about the education. Literacy is very low. Life expectancy 44 year. Average age of Indian citizen is 44 year. Presently it is 66. Infant mortality rate is 218 per thousand. Presently 44. Infant mortality means the number of infant which are going which are died from the per thousand new births. It means if there is thousand new babies are born, 218 are going to die due to some due to lack of medical facilities or lack of nutrition. So it is 218, which is higher at that time. Poverty and the unemployment was common all across the country. So poverty or unemployment, it creates poverty and unemployment at throughout the country. Then we move to occupational structure, meaning the distribution of working population of country in different structure, indicating the sector the people are working among the three sector. It means the occupation means the mean of work, or mean of the work, or the people which are get their jobs from various sectors. So we have three sectors in the economy: primary, secondary, and tertiary. So it essential to know the occupational structure to measure the economic growth of a country. Larger portion of population are engaged in agriculture. It means 75% of the people get their livelihood from the agriculture, or they are working in primary sector. Industrial sector provide 10% and service sector provide only 15% of job. And we move to infrastructure. Colonial government developed basic infrastructure like railways, postal transport, etc., not to serve Indian people but to use of their own interests. So this is the basic policy which is discussed throughout the chapter, that the all economic activities, all economic developments are the interest in the British interest of British Indian government, not to the Indian, not in the interest of Indian people. Or so British introduced railways in 1980 to break the geo-cultural barriers and to collect raw material across the India. So it means they are introduces railway more for doing more drainage of raw material in less time from India to Great Britain. It facilitates control over the Indian um, uh, Indian country by the military, or by the fast moving military through railway network. So development of good road facility is the aim of this is also same to facilitate the drainage of goods from raw material from India, and achieve the better control over the Indian people, and they are invested on waterways and sea lanes. So the basic, and there is a positive side that the British government invested in India in transportation, but the main objective is to achieve the proper control or the some military control over our country, and drain the goods from raw material and goods from India to Britain. So this is all about your chapter Indian economic development. So thank you to all.